What is going on, everyone? Welcome to our Sunday Week 2 NFL live stream. We are live for the Week 2 slate. We have our top 5 games picked out, 4 games on the slate, as well as Sunday Night Football. We have our weekly parlay for the team that we all combine and get a four-legger out there for you. So we'll announce that at the end, as well as our mortal locks for Week 2. Just me and Ace on this week, no Mackey. We're going to get right into the games. Our first game that we're going to take a look at, NFC matchup, New Orleans Saints heading to Dallas. Dallas, a 6-point favorite, over under at 47. Dallas is minus 275 on the money line. Ace, I'll just start us out here. I love Dallas in this spot. Dallas is they dominate September and October under Mike McCarthy, especially at home. I think they went 8-0 last year on their home field. I look for them to continue that trend at least early on this season. Give me the Cowboys -6. I think this week you could see CeeDee Lamb get in. They'll have the guns blazing down there in Dallas. They'll be playing the song like I said it last week. Give me the Cowboys -6 to start the season 2-0 and cover.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad take there, Huff. These Dallas Cowboys have actually been insane at home the last season. Finally going back after a big road win as underdogs in Cleveland last week, where the offense looked to be firing on all cylinders. That bag they gave to Dak, that bag they gave to CD seemed to be paying off. We saw that they had to bring in some veteran running backs with Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook, not touching the field yet, but Rico Dell getting some carries too. I think they should be primed for a big spot here, but I'm actually going to stay away on this game today. Those New Orleans Saints, I know that they were touted to be one of the lower teams in the NFC South this year, but they had a really strong week last week. Derek Carr throwing up the three in JC Horn's face last week, in that offense firing on all cylinders. Kamara finding the end zone, Jamal Williams finding the end zone, Rashid Shaheed with that long play. Look for Olave to get going a bit more. I think there's no in between here. The Cowboys either blow them out like they did last year and they put up 30 plus at home in a resounding win, or those Saints are able to play it tough and it's a 19-16 type game and the Saints are able to cover the spread. So I'm staying away on this one. I think it's going to be tough. I really am confident in these Cowboys whenever they play at home, but it's only week 2. Let's not jump the gun yet. A lot of these teams still figuring things out, working out the kinks, and you can overcome these early season losses. So I think the Cowboys are able to withhold it, but these Saints are kind of scaring me a little bit, making me stay away. I'm actually thinking the under here, more so an under on those Saints team total, but I think there's a way where they can backdoor cover it if the Cowboys start off slow with that strong defense out there in New Orleans.
Yeah, I think it's a strong take there. I think it could be a slower game. It's especially I think that's kind of an overlooked spot. A lot of people are riding high on these Saints coming in this week. I think it's a deflated line for the Cowboys going up against New Orleans. I think obviously coming off a huge win last week and at home over a terrible Panthers team, they kind of shit stomped them, did what they could to their divisional opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Give me the Cowboys to handle business today at home. I think it won't be close. I think they'll handle business at home. Our next game is
Huff, one more take on that game, that Cowboys and Saints game. Regardless of the outcome of this one, I still like we're still not going to have a true gauge on these New Orleans Saints. You go up against Bryce Young and those weak Carolina Panthers.
and then a
Now you
good
got to
team
go
on
up
the road.
against Dallas in AT&T Stadium in Jerry World. That's a tall order. Regardless if they get blown out here and they blew out the Panthers week 1, we're going to need a little bit more script on this team. But I could see Micah Parsons having a good game and getting after Derek Carr, not the mobilest quarterback in the world. Maybe we see a little bit more Taysom Hill action as we saw him get into the game a little bit more last week. We saw Chance say he likes the Lamb anytime touchdown. I think that's always a good play. I think Ezekiel Elliott, that's one too. My brother really liked that one. Gassing it up, Ezekiel Elliott and his homecoming to Dallas should be able to get into the end zone here. Asking a lot there, but love that plus 33-24 odds there. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Throw a quick little coin on that and you make something good. So we'll have to see how it plays out, but I think this game might be a little bit tighter than those expect.
Yeah. Next game we're going to get into, we have the Cleveland Browns heading to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. Both these teams looking for their first win on the year. Browns are a 3-point underdog with Jags at -3. Jags money line -165. Over under at 41. I'll start us out here again. I love the Jaguars in this spot. I think this is a good spot for them to come and get their first win. Tough game last week against Miami. They did what they could to slow down that offense, slow down the pace of that offense. Obviously, with Tua still healthy and under center for them, they had to go up against a pretty good Miami team at the time. I look at the Jags to bounce back here. This line started at -1. It's now to -3. Vegas is telling me that Jags are going to win this game, probably by 3 or 4. I also think this is an overlooking spot of the Browns. Again, kind of like what you said. I know it was in Cleveland, but you get a tough team week one. You had all
Mhm.
offseason to prepare for them. They fall flat on their face. Deshaun Watson looks terrible. I'm not big on that Browns team at all. Give me the Jags at Trevor Banks Stadium today to cover the 3-point spread.
Yeah, it's a tough spot. I like this prediction here. We have 2017 final score as they have to bounce back. Those Browns with a tough home opener. A lot of flat going towards Deshaun Watson with that left lofty contract and what he was able to do on the field. So it's going to be something to monitor this week. I think my prediction is this is the week that Deshaun Watson gets benched. That's a very big overreaction, but it'd be very interesting to see with Jameis Winston's waiting in the wings. I know they're trying to deal him and whatnot earlier on, but he's a valid backup quarterback to have there. No Nick Chubb in the mix. We saw Jerry Jeudy get in the end zone in that blowout late, kind of. He looked pretty good in his debut for the Browns. And we got to think this Browns team is a fringe playoff team, or if not a playoff team with that 7 wild card spot, with the defense, the way they were able to perform last year with Myles Garrett and the rest of the crew that they paid on the outside. However, I'm going to stay away on the Browns this week, too. I think that the Jaguars have a chance to push the Texans for this division along with the Colts. I think that AFC South is going to heat up pretty good. Trevor Lawrence fully healthy right now with a good coach, with good pieces around him. We saw ETN. He's going to be running angry today after fumbling that game away. Should have been a win over the Dolphins in week one. Lined up perfectly and just couldn't convert that final carry, getting down, fumbling inside the red zone is a tough thing to do. Travis Etienne found Peter once again. Brian Thomas Jr. looked great. I know that we see Christian Kirk as a sleeper pick here in this one to get in the end zone, but I think that's a tough order to fill. Evan Engram's out there. Brian Thomas Jr. looks like the true number one. I think it's going to be an under. I'm screaming the under here. I don't know. Do you think there's a lot of points in this one? I think two
No,
strong
I definitely.
defenses.
Yeah, I think this will be another low scoring matchup. I'm on the Jags more on the spread than the under, but I do think it'll go under the 41.5.
Yeah, and I have two players that I think could compete for the AFC defensive or the defensive player of the year or best player in the AFC, at least on the defensive side of the ball. Because I know there's some strong players out in the NFC this season too, with Micah Parsons being my favorite to take home the award. However, I think Myles Garrett and Josh Hines Allen are able to have strong days today. Get after these quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence going to have to continue doing what he does best. Hawes saying I love the Jags. I'm just high on them. I think that they're a good team. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have success at this level. Got to be fully healthy, and he has the cast around him to do it this year. And that defense, I love them too. Sean Watson, jury's out on him. Jury's been out on him for a while. Depends on how you're looking at it. I'm talking in a football sense, but I'm not high on Deshaun to get it done this week on the road.
Yeah, I agree.
Ayuk or McConkey at the flex
I'd
today?
go McConkey.
Yeah, I like Lad McConkey too. PPR target hog with a little chip on his shoulder, looking for something to prove as one of those top receivers in the class, being overlooked by some of the other
Harbaugh likes
guys.
using him too. You can already tell he's going to be big in Harbaugh's offense.
Yeah, JC Horn going to look to bounce back, covering him this week.
Hurt.
Oh, he's out this week.
Yeah,
Oh, that's massive. After getting chirped by Derek Carr, I'd be sitting out too personally. But the only thing that scares me is a Chargers blowout win. I think that could be said for the 49ers too, going up against the Vikings. So I'm going to lean with McConkey. I think he's more of a PPR play. Even though you got to think Ayuk gets back into the fold after week one and that big contract going his way.
yeah.
There's got to be someone else you can bench besides McConkey and Ayuk. Let us know in the chat who that is. Do I think AJ Brown will play? I do. I think the extended week that should be good for him. Got to check back on that scouting report tomorrow. We'll see. We'll have our Monday Night Football live stream, so that way we can give you more in-depth analysis. So we have better readings there. But that's got to be something you monitor. I would keep a reserve option out there if Jahan Dotson's out there and AJ Brown's not a go. Maybe you stash him on your bench just in case. AJ Brown is a no-go, but let me get the latest report on him, Huff. I don't know if you've seen anything there for AJ Brown, but
I
in
have
a
not.
primetime matchup, you got to think that he's able to suit up. Let me see. Questionable, legitimate question if he will play. I think that means he's going to be a go. That hamstring tightening up in practice on Friday. Got a few days off. We're lucky it's a Monday Night Football game for the Birds there. Philly. I think they're able to get it going.
Yeah, I agree. The next game we're going to get into 49ers at the Vikings. You kind of alluded to your pick on this one. I'll let you get us started here, but I'll announce the line. Niners -4.5, now down to -4.5, started at 6.5. Obviously, McCaffrey to the IR. They know that he's not going to be playing in this game. Over under 46.5. 49ers money line -225. Vikings money line +185. Which way are you going here?
Yeah, I'm going with the 49ers. And it's crazy to say, Jesse gave us a good stat on the podcast earlier this week, if you guys were able to tune in, that these Minnesota Vikings do hang well with those NFC West teams. Going over to Minnesota, it makes it a little bit tougher. Brock Purdy's got to step up more this week. Jordan Mason been a great fill-in for Christian McCaffrey. He's on the IR. If you were not able to scoop up Jordan Mason on your waiver wire before week one, you were screwed if you were a CMC drafter at number one overall. Shout out to Big Hoss. He got me on the trend Friday before the games even started. It's like, hey, go get Jordan Mason. I'm like, why? CMC is probably going to be a go. They just got the questionable tag. He's like, nah, I'd grab him. Now he's on that IR stint. Jordan Mason winning me my matchup last week over Brees Hall in a head-to-head going into Monday Night Football with a tied score. So very high on him. I think he finds the end zone today. Don't love the line he's got. It's a little steep for Jordan Mason, but he should be able to find Pater. Gets a Vikings team that handled business in week one against Daniel Jones. Sam Darnold looking pretty decent with a 110 plus passer rating. Justin Jefferson hitting the gritty in the end zone first week back. But I do think that the 49ers handle business here. I see Kittle getting going a bit more. I do see Ayuk getting going a bit more, but I would play him with McConkey in my lineup. Debo always having a huge game without CMC. He gets touches out of the backfield, touches everywhere. Last week, you guys saw me hit on his rushing prop that I actually locked in before CMC was ruled inactive. He might find Pater once again. But there's so many mouths to feed in the Kyle Shanahan offense. Kind of tough to feel. I think they cover that 4.5, whatever you get it at, with ease. I might be able to add that to my card. That might be a backdoor play, but I got a lot on this 1 o'clock slate. Huff, let me know your take on this game. I think this is going to be a 49ers maul.
Yeah, I like the under in this game, under the 46.5. I think it'll be kind of a defensive showing. Sam Darnold looked decent last week going up against a pretty shitty Giants team. I'm going to go with the Vikings to kind of slow down and come back to earth this week. I like their skill positions. I think this will be a closer, not close matchup in the sense of the spread. I think it'll be kind of a closer to the vest defensive matchup between these teams. We know what the 49ers bring on defense. Obviously, no McCaffrey for them on the offensive side. They did look good with, like you said, Debo and Trey, or what's his name, Jordan Mason in the backfield. I said Trey Mason. Jordan Mason in the backfield. They did look good there in week one at home. I'm interested to see how that translates into a 1 o'clock slate in Minnesota. Give me the under 46.5.
Yeah, and that's a good take there, Huff. I think they come back to earth as well. One thing that scares me though with Darnold, we saw how efficient that Niners defense was last week against the Aaron Rodgers Jets team that's been touted to be one of the better teams in the league. And now they get to go up against Sam Darnold, who's very loose with the football. I'm worried of that. I'm looking into a Sam Darnold interception line. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a strip sack somewhere mixed in as well. And then you got to think of the Vikings side of the ball on defense. They got to not let Jordan Mason take over the game. He was a bell cow last week, going for over 100, finding Pater. And then when he's going to behind that stout old line, we know what Kyle Shanahan can draw up. That play action was a strong piece to the offense. You got Debo and all these wide motions. You got the offset running backs, Kyle Juszczyk being involved in the offense too, through the air and on the ground. It's a lot of places to cover. And if you can't even stop Jordan Mason from getting the job done, then it's going to explode to a lot of other pieces as well. I think the Snyder's team is primed for success. Brock Purdy going to open up the playbook a bit more and look better in this matchup. I see a crooked number for the 49ers. Give me the Niners with the spread here. Give me Jordan Mason to get in. Lock that in.
I like it. We'll get into our only game in the 4 o'clock slate where we have the Cincinnati Bengals heading to Kansas City to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are a 6.5 point favorite, minus 275 on the money line, over under at 48 with the Bengals money line at plus 225. I love Kansas City in this spot. Obviously, Mackey likes to point out that the Bengals have a 3-1 record against the Kansas City Chiefs. That I don't even think that comes into effect in this game. Bengals start slow over the past couple of years. Chiefs, obviously, they haven't really been known to start quick. They looked really good last week. I look for them to continue that, coming off of a Thursday night week one matchup. They have the 10 days of rest to look and prepare for this game.
Love that.
Give me the Chiefs to roll at home in Arrowhead. Back-to-back home games. They're not going to lose this matchup. Chiefs minus 6.5. I love this play.
Yeah, I love that takeoff. Real quick, let me get back to our chat. Kyle Singer asking us ETN or Ford pick for a 1 full point PPR. Thanks for subbing and liking to it. Shout out to everybody that's listening right now. You got a chance, subscribe, like us, follow us on all the channels too. But Travis Etienne is going to be my pick there. It's going to be based on that Jaguars winning the game here. I think he's more involved in the passing game, more involved in the rushing game. I think he finds Pater once again in a low-scoring matchup. He's going to be a safety valve for Trevor Lawrence against a very strong pass rush led by Myles Garrett. Jerome Ford, I know he's looked solid, and he's a good spot on that Browns team getting the bulk of the carries. But I am very high on this defense. They got Loquan, they've got Hines Allen, they got a lot of other pieces out there. And I think that's going to be tough sledding for Deshaun Watson. If he has a bad game, it's going to be a bad game for Jerome Ford, too. I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence, ETN, get it done through the air and the ground. And I think he gets in the end zone. Lock in ETN there. Also, going back to our game here, Chiefs and Bengals, supposed to be such a great matchup. But those Cincinnati Bengals, I told you all last week, 1 week ago this Sunday morning, I told you how fraudulent the Cincinnati Bengals are. Didn't card my Patriots, took them off the card lightly. They cashed over a plus 300 money line. I think that might be more so about my Patriots being elite. No, I'm just kidding. There was a lot of early season woes from the Cincinnati Bengals. Huff said it. They start slow. Joe Burrow missed last year with the injury. Now Jamar Chase has contract issues. T. Higgins is on the shelf. You lost Joe Mixon, so you don't have a true running game. It's a mix between Zach Moss. It's a mix between
Chase Brown.
Chase Brown. So what do you really could do? Mike Gesicki found the end zone for you. That's not the guy they want scoring. Ended up fumbling as well. I believe it was him or the backup tight end, punched out by Kyle Duggar. But I am going to go with the Chiefs here. Do they cover the points? I don't know. They love messing with people and not covering those weird spreads when it's between 4 and 7. I'm going to like to think they do. I got Travis Kelce back in the fold here to find Peter. Here he's sitting at plus 140. That's a crazy line to me. In this matchup of the team that likes to chirp the Chiefs, calling it Burrowhead and whatnot, the only team that beat them to go lose in the Super Bowl. Saw a comment the other day that I love. Joe Burrow gets more credit for losing the Super Bowl than Matt Stafford does for winning the Super Bowl. So that's something to take into consideration. I think Jamar Chase's news of him not wanting to stay in Cincinnati that broke late last night, early this morning, is massive here. They might force feed him. So if you want to see a Jamar Chase prop, go see that as they try and keep him around in Cincinnati. He's going to be a target hog today, squeaky wheel treatment. But I think that Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Isaiah Pacheco able to get the job done. Maybe Worthy finds the end zone after CTB calls him out during the week. More stuff at Huff. Maybe you touch on that for a second. Why do these Bengals love to gas up the Chiefs? Give them
That's what I sent.
material?
That's what I sent in our chat earlier this week. Like, why do they give them bulletin board material every time? I mean, maybe you could point at the record and say they're 3-1 and it's worked, but like the one team you don't want to give bulletin board material to is a guy with the team with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback.
Exactly. And he has speed too. The scheme they had last week, it was jet sweeps, it was end arounds, and I can't wait.
They're going right at Cam Taylor-Britt on this first drive.
Oh yeah, and I can't wait to see the crazy play actions, design plays that came off of some of the things they set up last week. They're going to bring it to Cincinnati, a little brother scenario for them once again, and I think they might pump them at home. Do I parlay the Niners and the Chiefs here? We overthought it last week. Nobody put them on the card because we're like week 1 against valid teams. I don't know, but they're the best teams in each respective division. Niners, Chiefs, they're going to get the job done. Kelce finds the end zone. Rashee Rice has a great day once again with Marquise Hollywood Brown, placed on the IR for a while. Tough blow there, but that's all right. You can rest whoever you want with the Chiefs and the Niners. Yeah, I got Kansas City here. Numbers weird, but I'm going to look into it. Maybe you parlay the money line, Chiefs, Niners, talking myself into it more than I say it. Viagra size middle finger, great name there on YouTube. But Travis Kelce will find the end zone. If Taylor Swift is standing near the goalpost, maybe, but I think she might be up in the box. We might be seeing more of her than we see Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase finding the end zone today. Give me the Chiefs.
I agree. Then we have Sunday Night Football. These Chicago Bears are heading to Houston. Good quarterback matchup here, at least a young and up-and-coming quarterback matchup here with Stroud going up against Caleb Williams. Stroud and the Texans are a 6.5-point favorite, minus 275 on the money line, over under at 45.5. Which way do you go on this game?
I like the Texans here. Give me all the points too. It's a tough spot. I know 6 points. You asked them to beat a pro team by a touchdown in Sunday Night Football, but Caleb Williams did virtually nothing last week, and I am high on Caleb Williams. I think he has a good rookie campaign. I think he has a good NFL career. But the fact that they were able to eke out a win by Will Levis throwing more touchdown passes than Caleb Williams for the Chicago Bears is crazy to me. Maybe Caleb Williams scampers into the end zone. First primetime game, first time he runs in himself. That would be something I would look into. I know was it DJ Moore got a little banged up last week, so got to see if he's a full go for tonight's game. But let's talk about this Texans team because they got Diggs, they got Mixon, their new toys on offense. They both found the end zone. Nico Collins, I wouldn't be surprised if he finds the end zone today, going over 100 yards last week. CJ Stroud, very, very efficient. Oh, yeah, they got Tank Dell and Dalton Schultz in the mix. A lot of teams would like to have them as well. I think that defense gets a little more stout and an easier matchup against Caleb and the Bears after last week getting kind of exposed by the Anthony Richardson Colts team in divisional matchup. Still finding a way to win. That's a good sign for them. Texans are a pick for me to go very far this year and win that AFC South. I think Stroud and Co. gets it done easily. Kind of shows, hey, Caleb Williams, it's my time right now, not yours yet.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I don't love this game or the spread. I wanted it to be a little bit lower. Maybe telling me I kind of like the Bears to hang around, but I can't bet the Bears in this spot. Seeing what I saw from that offense last week, you can't expect the same performance from your defense. I don't know what they got, a touchdown and a kick return or whatever it was. Their defense played lights out. They were down 17-0. Their defense turned around that whole game for them. I don't love a spread on this one. I don't love the total. I'm probably not going to have a play on this game, but if you were looking for a play, Ace is pretty confident in these Houston Texans. That's definitely the side I would be more comfortable betting on. I can tell you that.
Yeah, and I think Mixon finds the end zone once again. He might be a touchdown leader this year for Houston. He did it in Cincinnati. He was pretty high up there over his career there. They're going to be in the red zone a lot. He finds ways to get in through the area and the ground. Stephon Diggs is going to be fun to watch him too. I think the Texans really show out with all of that firepower they have on offense. A lot of people like Houston in the over here. Over is kind of a crazy play in my opinion for Sunday Night Football. Revamp Texas defense. Bears have a little bit to go on defense, I guess, but I'm just not very confident on these Bears. I like the Texans with the points here and Mixon and get in. Going to be a great Sunday Night Football game. Hopefully, the two young QBs can live up to the hype and really give us a good matchup here. But let's get into some of these immortal locks in our parlay of the week, Huff.
Yeah, my mortal lock of the week. I already said it. It's going to be the Cowboys minus the 6 points at home. I'm going to take them to kind of continue what I said. Their September dominance, especially at home, and handle the New Orleans Saints today -6.
Yeah, I got Derrick Henry to find the end zone today. I saw someone in our chat say the Raiders are upsetting the Ravens today. Delusional. I don't know what island you're on, but you can stay there because the Raiders should go there too. I think that Derrick Henry finds the end zone not only once but twice. Maybe there's a hat trick for him involved somewhere. Got to think Zay Flowers finds the end zone too. The way they were force feeding him. Maybe they get Mark Andrews back in the mix, or they reward Isaiah Likely for just missing by a toe. Lamar Jackson isn't going to have to do too much. I wouldn't really look at his rushing prop today unless he decides to break a big one early, but he's just going to stay comfortable and just be a distributor and help the Ravens go on to a big win. I think they cover that 8-point spread. You're in a survival league. I got the Ravens as my survival pick this week. I know it's the easy one. A couple other ones we're looking at for a survival league. We were talking about the Colts and a good matchup against Malik Willis after Anthony Richardson looked good last week, in a losing effort. I think that the Eagles were another one we were thinking about. I threw in the Jets. I think Aaron Rodgers and co gets their first win in the Aaron Rodgers tenure with the New York Jets against Will Levis on the road. Huff staying away. Huff, a couple other survival picks you're looking at. Maybe money line parlay from your boy.
Mine was gonna be. I also went with Baltimore. Mine was gonna be probably Dallas or I was thinking about the Rams in this spot against obviously McVay's 12-2 against the Cardinals in his career. I think it's against the spread. I know they're a 1 point underdog, but I saw him as a pick 'em somewhere. My other one was going to be the Rams. If you're looking for a little bit of a non-consensus pick, I like them to win today in Arizona.
I think
Just
there's a
tough
lot of
taking a
points
road
there,
team.
personally. I think there's a lot of points there in that Cardinals Rams game.
Yeah, I think it definitely could be.
Wow, we went dark here.
I was gonna say you're like out of focus. We'll just we'll
Wow.
read the parlay.
Yeah,
We'll be
get
wrapping
out
up
of
there.
here.
You're good.
Darked out here. We're getting close to that 1 o'clock kickoff. Let me see if I can block it off. No, we
Let's
can't.
see here. So we'll get to the parlay of the week. We have Ravens money line, Texans money line, Lions money line, Eagles money line in Monday Night Football. The parlay total odds come to a plus 186. So 4 money lines. Obviously, we have two afternoon legs today. One Sunday Night Football, one Monday Night Football. So plus 186 on the parlay, and I think that's going to do it for us this week. Make sure you stay tuned for our week 3 analysis coming out on Thursday.
Yeah, and check out our socials. We're going to be posting all of our plays. We all do our individual cards every day. 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, Sunday Night Football. We'll have 1 and 4s posted here very shortly. Huff gets a little mad at me, but I need a little bit of time to digest some football on the day before I get into the Sunday Night Football mix. But you guys kind of know where I'm leaning there already. Some good parlay pieces, some good picks, fantasy questions too. Definitely DM us on our Instagram account if you have any lingering thoughts, and we'll get back to you there too. But another great week here ahead. My Patriots are winning this week too. Got it on the card, 2-0 going into the Thursday Night Football lock. You heard it here first.
All right. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week.